Alright, in this video we are going to show you how to create a pretty realistic hand clap sound. First I need to explain here that the waveform A and waveform B outputs are actually a stereo jack. So you've got two signals coming out of there, and what's really handy to have is a send return cable like this. You've got a stereo end on one end, and you've got a ring. If you can see, that's labeled ring, and the other one is labeled tip. On the tip of this jack, you're going to have the constant waveform coming out of either wave A or wave B. On the ring portion, what we do is we've got special VCAs in this circuitry that is controlled by envelope for the filter. And so we can use this shape to change the level coming out of this waveform jack. So what we're going to do is we're going to put our stereo end into waveform B. Oscillator B then, we've got set at 0. We've got the sawtooth waveform selected, and nothing in the modulation section here. We're going to use oscillator A set to noise, and we're going to overdrive the input of the filter a little bit by setting this mixer setting all the way just a little past 3. In the filter section, this is where we shape the tone of our noise. High pass or band pass works really good for hand claps. Cutoff frequency we've got set right about in the middle. Resonance, again, you can adjust this to kind of vary the tone of the noise. Our envelope setting, we're not going to use any envelope to sweep the filter frequency, and nothing is modifying the filter frequency as well. The trick here is we've got the tip coming out of here. Actually, let me said that wrong. We're going to use the ring coming out of waveform B and connect it into velocity input. We then can turn up the velocity amount, and what that's going to do is apply this short burst of sawtooth waveforms to the velocity input, and that burst of sawtooth is controlled by this little decay setting. If you ever study like the 808 circuitry and how they do their hand clap, typically there's a sawtooth burst of about 3 sawtooths followed by a long decaying trail for the noise to decay out. So we're going to set our envelope shape in the amplifier just to the attack decay. We're going to set the attack time all the way down and the decay time just above the 9 o'clock position. Let's go ahead and we're going to start with a velocity all the way down. This is your typical clap sound that most synthesizers will generate. Let's go ahead and turn our volume up. And so at this point we just have a burst of noise. Doesn't sound very interesting, but let's go ahead and increase the velocity amount. And now we can hear that repetition, and if we look real closely, we're getting a nice little burst of sawtooth followed by that decaying noise trail. Now we can fine-tune that by adjusting the frequency of the sawtooth. And that'll tell us how many we get, or we could adjust the amount of time for that. See, if we set it too long, we've got too many of those little claps there. Let's bring our decay back a little bit. Now let's go ahead and adjust the filter. Turn up the resonance. Or try the band pass as well. And again, if we turn down our velocity, we're back to your typical synth white noise kind of tone burst. But it's really this little velocity trick and the fact that we have a dedicated VCA on our oscillator outputs that allows this to happen. So have a lot of fun with that. There's a lot of little parameters you can tweak to kind of customize your clap sound, but it's a lot closer than you're going to get with your average synthesizer or even a modular system. So enjoy.